Hello, my witches. Hello, hello, hello. I have missed you so much. Ah, who do we have here? Pop in, say hi. If you are new, you do have to be a member, not a member of the channel, but you do have to be subscribed to the channel to join in the chat. Um, but you only have to subscribe, and then a minute later, you'll be able to join. So there's only a 1 minute buffer. I'm hoping my microphone doesn't crash out on me here because I had to do some wangling at the very end there to get things together. Anyhow, how are you? Please pop in, say hi, let me know you're here. Baby Joe had popped in when I was doing a test earlier. My software, it just messed with my head. It acted like it wasn't going to go live, and the buffer was so incredibly long that anyway, we're here now, and I'm glad you're here. I see we've got 7 of you. Pop in. There's Mary Beth. Hi, Mary Beth. Oh, hi. Thank you. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for saying hi and telling me where you're from. Please do the same. Everybody, hit the like button. Drop in the chat where you're watching from. And I'll give it just a minute or two for people to kind of come in and figure out I'm live. I actually managed to schedule this live and it's happening. So I'm excited. Do I look excited? I am. I'm here with my grape crush. Oh my God, that's good. Blessed Beltane to you. Happy full moon that's coming up on Beltane. Happy, hey, you're still here to all of us because holy shit, man. I'm going to try to watch my potty mouth a little bit tonight, but then again, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Wait, I'm going to take the audio down just a little bit because I'm spiking. I don't want to blow your ears off because I know I can get loud. Hi, Roxanne. Oh, it's so good to see you. Very, very good to see you. I would be just a frickin' liar if I did not say to you that I am not okay. I'm not okay. Not, it's not a personal thing. Personally, I got a cortisone shot today. Woo! And if you watched my video about our Colorado trip, we had a wonderful time. You can go watch that, find out all about it. But overall, in general, I am not okay. I today kicked 120 some white men off my friends list, all of whom have been sitting there with their mouths clamped shut through what's been being revealed. The horrendous, monstrous information that has been coming out about motherless.com. If you don't know about motherless.com, hi, Elsie. Hi. Hi from Canada. Can I come live with you? I mean, you're in it too. We're all in it. But this latest revelation about the horrors that are being and have been visited upon women and children, boys and girls. It's so hard to bear. It is so hard to bear. And I watched the CNN story. I haven't watched 60 Minutes thing yet. I saw something on that, but actually, anyway, because I feel called to witness. I feel that I need to witness this on behalf of womankind and as a priestess. I mean, I, and probably you and the majority of people with relatively sane brains could never have imagined. What it's showing us is just how toxic masculinity has become. And the fact that they named the site Motherless says it all. It says it all. This is the price of killing the goddess, demonizing the goddess, turning the goddess into the enemy. I've been rereading a book called Ariadne's Thread by Shekinah Mountain Water that was published in 1991. And the late 80s for me was the time when the revelations were happening, because I got a copy of the Women's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets by Barbara G. Walker. If you do not have that book, you should get that book. What's really interesting, as kind of a side note, is that looking at these books now, you can really see how far we have come. And, that's a very good and positive thing. But you can also see what has stagnated and what has not budged an inch for a couple of millennia at least. And what I mean by how far we've come is I'm looking at the Women's Encyclopedia, and there is no entry for transgender. And back then it was called transsexual. There's no entry for that, which was stunning to me, because everything else is wonderful. Her research was amazing, and that was the book that really first started pissing me off and started me quacking, which got the pagans and the men coming after me, especially the Odinists. So anyhow, I have been working to take care of my nervous system, to take care of my vagus nerve, my vasovagal system, so that I can stay present through this. I want to show you, let me pull me off to the side here, because I want to show you a couple of things. Someone that popped up, oh, I have to put these back in the deck too, popped up into my practice is Ananda Mayima, the joy-permeated mother. And she she was born in, I think, 1896, 1898, something like that. She died in, I think it was 1980. And she was someone who never took that step fully into her body. She said she never identified with her body. She would call herself, she never used I. It would be this body, or this girl, this little girl. So she was prone to falling into bliss, falling into states of bliss. And she developed followers because it was just such an amazing thing to hang out in her presence. And whoops, I just put somebody in there I wanted to show you. She was never trained by anyone. She never started any, disciplines, or wrote any books, or just, but people would come to hang out with her because it was that feeling of being in the presence of the one, and, got these people wanting to move closer to that state. She could recite the Upanishads without ever having studied. She could do, she was an amazing person. There are healings attributed to her. And of course, many, many ashrams have been founded in her name by her disciples, but she never said, go do this, So when I'm doing my white Tara practice in the morning and I'm chanting, I'm just looking into her face and remembering those times, that feeling of bliss, because I've experienced that many times. Of bliss, of ecstasy, that feeling of unity, that feeling of going beyond, beyond, beyond this body, into the truth of the unity that we all share, which we're so far from right now. The other people I have been including in my practice, this is St. Rita of Cascia. She's the patroness of impossible causes, and she's the patron saint of abused women. Then we have Catherine Labouré, St. Catherine Labouré, patroness of this is going to be fun tonight, miraculous healing. She is the one that designed and started the miraculous medal of the Virgin Mary. And I am purposely going to these people who actually lived in bodies on this planet, particularly who came through the Christian tradition, because um, there's an opportunity there. You know, Pope Leo is bringing an entirely different vibe. And so there's an opportunity to work through that system to help. We'll put a period at the end of that sentence. So anyway, and I'm also using them, you know, for myself because of the health issues that I deal with. On the way to the doctor today, I had another mild panic attack. And it's like, is it because I'm going to the doctor? The last time I was there, I had that horrendous attack. But you know, the patron saint of impossible causes, that's the other thing Rita of Cascia is, the saint of impossible causes. So things that seem impossible. So anyhow, those are the people that I'm working with. I'm going to put, I have some sound here, and I don't know if you guys will hear it very much, but I need to hear something except me talking or behind me talking anyhow. So let's have a blessing. Let's have a blessing. Other people pop in here. Okay, 4. I see that several people bailed when I started talking about reality, and I'm sorry for that, but you know what? We're not going to ignore it. We're not going to ignore. And you know, the reason that I have kicked all these men off my list is because of the silence. This information came out, and I'm sharing things. Not a single man, has spoken up and said, this is horrible. We have to do something about this. Not one. I even saw there was an article written on it, on the silence of men right now. And I don't understand. So I'm hoping that I can begin to understand. But those of you that have stuck with me here, you know, talking about crazy controversial things, a priestess doesn't hide herself away from the world. And, you know, I've backed up from the male politics many, many times because it's too much for the system. But I feel like this is going to hit the system no matter what, because it's primal. It's primal. We're at a point of reckoning right now. We are at a point of reckoning. And what's going to bring about that reckoning? It's us. It's us. It's us, my witches. Okay. So I offer you this sacred smoke by air and fire. May we be purified and charged. And the ocean water by water and earth. May we be blessed and made whole. And by the sound of the bell, may the spirit enter in. Wow, Mary Beth says, I think the possible positive side of the current lineup in Aries betokens the return of the positive masculine. Yes, certainly. I got that too. Mars was the one Olympian that never raped a woman. Wow, I didn't know that. Thank you, Mary Beth. Thank you so much for that. And I'm getting ready for a Mars return. Mars rules my 6th house of physical health, and it sits in that house in Taurus. So that's really good to know. So we call on Mars. Oops, one more. 2 more, actually. So thank you for responding to that. Yeah, you have to walk your truth. And the thing is, I just don't understand the silence. It's as if If this happened to your daughter, would you just sit there and say nothing? If this happened to your wife, or, I mean, it's just silence is complicity. That's all there is to it in my mind. That is all there is to it. I can think of no other reason to keep your mouth shut. You could say, oh my God, that's awful. No OMGs, no WTFs, no nothing, crickets. And I've said, guys, where are you? Please watch this, read this article. If you've read it, please tell me you've read it. Now, there's always a possibility that Facebook is suppressing things, but the women are commenting. The women are reacting. And yes, I'm married to a man. I don't hate men. Anyhow, let's get to what we're doing tonight. So let's do a little meditation here. So we invite the spirit in. We are going to invite in our allies and ancestors, our guides and guardians. Name them out loud if you want to. Burn your sage if you've got it. Whatever you want to make your space feel sacred. And I offer you fresh water. And I offer you the fire of Azrael. A heaping helping of the fire of Azrael, which helps with spirit communication. So, and it also helps with grief. So may this help to clear away for this time the grief that we're feeling collectively, so that we can celebrate our goddess in Beltane. And you know what? It's both and. We can hold grief and celebrate at the same time. That's what a celebration of life is, when you talk about someone and you're laughing until you cry because you miss them, So let's just have a little meditation. And I take it that the volume is good because nobody's saying anything, so I would assume. All right, so sit comfortably, lie down, whatever you're doing, but get yourself balanced on your spine. Get yourself your shoulder blades tucked in, feet flat on the floor. If you're sitting, uncross your ankles. And then just drop down into your body. Drop your attention down into your body, into this piece of earth. Feel your skin. Feel the texture of your clothing on your skin. Feel the temperature of the air, whether it's still or moving, warm or cool. And then begin to breathe from the very center of your being, right at the level of your solar plexus. Feel that 360 degrees around your torso, around your solar plexus. And as you breathe in, let it just expand all the way around and then contract again. Feel the air as it comes in through your nose, and I'd like you to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Don't try to force everything to open up in that 360-degree circle. Just keep it in your mind as you easily breathe. And then as you continue to breathe, putting your attention on your exhale, and just allow anything that you don't need right now to flow out with your out breath. Anything that's stagnant or stuck, anything that's heavy, dark, tense, painful, You can feel them as you breathe in, so you know where they live, and then just invite them out on your exhale. And then putting your attention down to your root chakra, and just feel that energy center activate. The center that keeps us closest to the earth. And as that activates, feel it open up and feel a stream of energy going down into the earth, a root, a cord, a channel. Let it grow down into the earth, down, down, down. And allow runners to head out into the 4 cardinal directions so that you feel particularly anchored and stable and safe. And now the things that have been acknowledged with your breath, things that are starting to break up, just let the heavy parts fall down into the earth. And the soft earth at Beltane opens up to receive them. If you're on the other end of the planet, the southern hemisphere, let that Samhain earth receive what is ready to be compost. Feel yourself a little lighter as those heavy chunks of stuff that doesn't belong to you start to fall away. And then notice as the root begins to absorb the energy of the earth. Feel the earth drawing, pulling in, pulling in, pulling in that earth energy, that green and gold, and feel it moving up, 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 that root swirling and spinning in a spiral. Notice when it connects with your physical body and begins to flow in abundance, green and gold sparkling. Feel it rush down your legs to your feet. And as it does, anything that's left in there that doesn't belong to you begins to break up and is drawn down that root. Feel all of the muscles relax with this energy as it begins to rise up into your pelvic girdle, into your belly and your low back. You can use your hands to touch your body in these places to help you feel that earth energy moving. And it rises up into your solar plexus and around your mid-back. Feel it rise up into your chest, up into your shoulder blades. Feel those shoulder blades relax and come down. And feel it come up to the level of your shoulders and rush down your arms to your fingertips. Breaking up everything as it goes, making space for the green and gold little spinning pairs to fill up your body as it rises into your neck and into your head. And just watch it moving around your body, going where healing is needed, going where vitality is needed. It does its work in perfect harmony with your body because they are one and the same energy. And now your next exhale completely. Squeeze out every last bit. And as you inhale, pull up that earth energy more and more bright, vibrant, sparkling green and gold. Let it swirl, swirl, swirl through your body. Exhale only the breath and keep the energy. And again, brighter and more alive, more vibrant, all the way down to the tips of your fingers and toes. Exhale only the breath, keep the energy. And again. Turning up the volume. This time we exhale out the crown. And watch it arc down around you on all sides, creating a sphere, an egg. It's almost like a little earth of your own. And you are perfectly balanced in the middle of it. The energy comes down all around, no gaps. It touches the earth, it sinks down about 1.5 feet, and then it gathers around that root and goes back down into the earth. Let this circuit run. And now turn your thoughts to the crown and open up that crown chakra. And let the blue and silver cosmic energy come pouring in through the crown, pouring in, instantly attracted to the little green and gold pairs like magnets. They hook together into these beautiful little spinning lights all through your body. Let the cosmic energy come down, balancing out the earth energy. Down, down, down. Let it flow out of your root chakra, down the root about 1.5 feet, till it joins the outside of the sphere, and up it comes on the outside back into the heavens. And now just sit in that balance for a little while, knowing that this sphere, this egg around you, is a shield and a filter. It keeps you safe. It allows you to observe without absorbing. It allows you to let your guard down, your mental and physical guard, so that you can open that third eye, be fully present, ready to share any messages that you get. And into this space, we also invite those allies and ancestors, gods and goddesses. And I would like to invite into this space the goddess of Beltane. This is still the maiden goddess. She doesn't belong to anyone. She is sexually free. She has complete autonomy. She shares her sexuality with whom she chooses, whomever she chooses, whenever she chooses, without judgment, without shame, without control from the outside. And I'm going to add a little bit of Vesta powder here, just to raise the vibe. These jars are hard to open. Let me scoot this forward so you can see. So may this raise the vibration here. May it blow away anything that's in the way of us having a great time with each other. And I also use this to activate psychic gifts. Woohoo! One more, because it's so much fun. There we go. This also dispels and scatters any negative energy. Any energy that is here to take away from us rather than give from us, Vesta powder dispels it and blasts it out into space. Speaking of space, haven't we had an amazing time there, with humans being as far away as they have ever been from the Earth, and in such beautiful community with each other. Beautiful community. That was really needed, you know? So, okay, let's look at the decks. Hi, Catherine. Hi. I'm so glad you're here too. Oh my goodness. Let's see. 7 are back now. We started with 7 and 3 of them bailed right away when I started talking about the current unpleasantness. Anyway, we have first up the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle by Stacy DeMarco. Seemed appropriate. I'm gonna put my grape crush over here. We have, whoa, The Divine Feminine by Megan Watterson and Lisbeth Cheever Jessamine, and who I do believe, Kinga Britschke is the artist for Deep, Dark, and Dangerous. And today I have included, I think I might have done this on the last live, I have included the Lenormands. This is the Gilded Reverie Lenormand by Ciro Marchetti. I was trying to do all female authored decks, but this one is not, and I chose this one because the pictures are so big and bold and beautiful, and it's the one I've been working with most. This is Wild Woman Rising by Angie Sullins. If you do not follow Angie Sullins on Facebook, you should. Her poetry is exquisite. It'll make you cry, give you goosebumps. Artwork is Gina Della Grottaglia. And I didn't say on Ciro's, no, Ciro is the artist. Never mind. Duh. Okay. Then we have 2 decks by the same author, Mahadeva Padma. We have the Sacred She and the Osho Zen. And same author because they're so good. They are so very good. They're so very different from each other, too. All right. And I'm hoping I get to see Samantha and Darcy pop in. I did tell Samantha I was planning a live, but planning and doing are 2 different things. But this time I was freaking determined. It's like my whole day has been pointed towards this because I was just determined. It's like you're not gonna get in my way again. Okay, let's go with the Astrodice. To set the tone, who's gonna set it? This is my Larvikite, which is a wonderful stone to have if you are sensitive and psychic. Big protective stone. Okay. We have Venus, appropriate for Beltane, in Scorpio. Speaking of sexuality, in the 10th house. Okay. So 10th house, global issues, mass media, global travel. 9th house is big. It's understanding. It's higher education. It's where, the opposite house is the 3rd, where we take our elementary learning and we expand it through the 9th house into an understanding and a philosophy of life. We have in the 3rd house with Mercury, we've got all the little bits of information, all the data. I've learned this, I've learned this, I've learned this, I've learned this. 9th house is where we weave it all together and say, this is the story it tells me. And that's where our belief systems get built from. So Venus in Scorpio is saucy. Venus is our affections, what we love. Scorpio, magic, transformation, sexuality. Yeah, that is Venus ruled by Mars here, ruled by Mars and Pluto. And Venus and Pluto, interestingly, can make someone sort of pushy with their affections, sort of dominating with their affections, either or with their affections. When you have Venus opposing or squaring Pluto, sometimes that's called the grape aspect. I'm using that word for a reason. Because it is that Pluto is force and dominance. And when you have your affections in Venus, I mean, I would think Mars, Pluto square in opposition would be worse. But this is, there's something I love, there's something I'm attracted to, and I have to get it. So this can cause obsession. So looky, wow, is that a description of what we're dealing with on a global level here? From what was her first name? Giselle Pellicot in France, and the accountability started. So Venus and Scorpio, let's talk about transforming the feminine out of this false image of that we've been, they've been peddling to us for thousands of years. So, okay, the feminine rising like a phoenix, transforming, showing herself on the global stage. I think that's where we start. Okay, tiny die. Number 6, Osho Zen. So one of the reasons I only picked two tarot tonight, and the reason one of them was Osho Zen is because it is very good at showing us where we need to help ourselves and showing us our blind spots. And it's Buddhist. Buddhism shows us how to deal with all this stuff without losing our minds and without compounding the suffering. And I am going to split and pick the cards tonight. I will accept jumpers, but only 1 or 2 at a time, please. Thank you, please, and thank you. Okay. What do we need to know tonight? All right. Beyond illusion. That's a good one to start with. That's the Judgment card. Scorpio energy. Beyond the illusion of, the separation of sexes, the war of the sexes. This model that we've been living under is all about war and battle and opposition. In Ariadne's thread, oh, look, and there's the world completion. Fascinating. So in Ariadne's thread, I was reading the chapter on the moon, and it was talking about, it's not an either or thing of either we do the male way, which is a straight line, me against you, up, then down, or, the female way. The feminine way, the goddess way is a circle, and it encompasses all. Yeah. The outsider. Ooh, that's interesting. Suppression. Guilt. Oh my Lord. Well, they're coming out chatty tonight, huh? Please, please, please engage in the comments. And if you see things that I'm missing, pop in there. All right. Our final one here, no thingness. Wow. Which is the Hierophant card in this deck. Okay. So beyond illusion, the Judgment card is about transformation. It's one of the several cards of change in the major arcana, and it is the card of complete change from the inside out. It's change that starts with our understanding, and when we have those aha moments and come to a new understanding and see something clearly for the first time, there's no going back. You can't push that toothpaste back in the tube. So we go beyond illusion here and see things for what they really are. And what we're seeing right now is the ick in the system. We've always known it was there. We just didn't know the scale. And for most of us, particularly if your skin is white, male or female, we have lived with enough privilege that we haven't had to look at this system. So we're going beyond the illusion that it's all okay and that, it doesn't really matter. And I think that's what really grieves me so much with this silence, is because it is really a demonstration of how much it matters. So anyway, then we come to completion over here and look at the puzzle piece. We're building this picture through the major arcana. We are building something. And right before completion, we get to see what we've built with clear eyes. We get to see what has been made manifest from our ideas in the beginning. Sorry, I'm getting warm, as I do. So, when we have the illusion pulled away and see what we've manifested, and then look at the outsider, a whole half of the human race is on the outside looking in. You know, when we come to completion of this model that we've been living in, this 2,000-year ride, and you know, the great ages are 2,000 years. We're not due for the real switch into the age of Aquarius for a while, for another 100 some years, but we are at a critical space right now. You know, we're at critical degrees in these great ages. And so what we're seeing, we're coming from remember the great ages go backwards through the signs. So we are coming from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. What is Pisces? It's illusion. It's flimflammery, magic, you know, being hoodwinked, being hypnotized, being fooled. So we go beyond, we wake up and find out what we've been fooled and get a good look at what's been made manifest and that we're on the outside looking in. And I guess it's good to be on the outside of this and being able to really see it. Then we've got this suppression and guilt. Holy crap. I mean, I'm looking at the suppression of guilt. That the guilty, I mean, do I need to say anything about that? Look at her face. This is where I'm at right now, you guys here. In fact, you know, I'm gonna zoom in for you, because that's a better idea. Then you can see big. Hey, if it'll let me. Oh my God. All right, hold up. My heckin'. I'm not sure why this is happening. It won't let me zoom in. I can highlight the thing, but it won't let me zoom in. Okay, never mind. I'll just hold them up. And then we have no thingness down here. So we've got this, you know, things coming to completion, so much suppression of information, and so interesting that we're looking at the suppression of information in real time while we've got our eyes open and we're seeing things with our own eyes. And part of the suppression is AI spinning all these things that make us doubt what we're seeing with our own eyes, you know? Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Well, now we're down to like believe a tenth of what you see, especially on the internet. And this is your reminder that anytime you do a search on any search engine, after your search terms, type in -AI, a minus sign AI, and that's supposed to kick out all the AI results that would have shown up in that search. So you only get real stuff. So please do that. And so we're coming into the Aquarian age where we need to, we're waking up to this. We see the suppression. Look at the guilt, you know, the guilty parties. And I mean, we know it's every bit of society, patriarchal society is guilty here. You know, the political systems, the church, every man in these systems that has made these rules and decisions and carried on this suppression. And so we boil this down now to where the Hierophant is no thingness. And I am going to read this one. So we have to let go of the details if we want to work with the energy. Okay, here's the message that they're giving me. If we want to work with the energy, we have to let go of the details and work with the energy of suppression, guilt, the energy of othering. These are the toxic energies that we're working with right now. So being in the gap can be disorienting and even scary. I'll say. Nothing to hold on to, no sense of direction, not even a hint of what choices and possibilities might lie ahead. But it was just this state of pure potential that existed before the universe was created. All you can do now is to relax into this nothingness, no thingness. Fall into this silence between the words, watch this gap between the outgoing and incoming breath, and treasure each empty moment of experience. Something sacred is about to be born. Yes, it is. And so I am grateful. As we're going through these things, I am giving thanks because this is the opportunity that all through history, these situations have gone one way every time, one way, you know? And when we go through these big leaps forward in consciousness, in awareness, in global community, it's always preceded by a mess, by a fucking mess. Things don't change easily. So the mess is evidence of the breakdown of the old system. Buddha has chosen one of the really very potential words, shunyata. The English word, the English equivalent, nothingness, is not such a beautiful word. That's why I would like to make it no thingness with a hyphen. Because the nothing is not just nothing, it is all, but it's not being named and categorized. When you name something, you put a fence around it. When you name something, you attempt to capture it and lock it down. But the reality of life is a flow. It's all a flow and a unity and a vibration and a frequency. And so when we remove the naming of the things, we can allow that energy to flow and we can work with it better. So if you're doing magical work, if you're doing energy work around this, as always, I recommend Tonglen because it allows you to breathe in the ick that you're feeling so you can acknowledge it, and that pulls it into your hands so you can change it, and then you breathe it out and expand it, ventilate it, bring the air into that stuffy old room. It is potential, absolute potential. It is vibrant with all possibilities. It is unmanifest yet, but it contains all. So here's the manifest, what we're dealing with, and we're moving beyond that into the unmanifest. In the beginning is nature, in the end is nature, so why in the middle do you make so much fuss? Because it hurts, that's why. Why in the middle, becoming so worried, so anxious, so ambitious? Why create such despair? Nothingness to nothingness is the whole journey. Why create such despair? Because it's what we're here to do. We chose to come onto this earth school because we're badass souls. That's why. This is a tough road. This is a tough ass road. And if we can manage to stay, I don't want to say connected to because we can't be disconnected, but if we can manage to stay in the spirit, inspired, inspirited while we're going through this what has been manifest. And so as we look at what's been manifest, another thing we have to know is that everything is always changing all the time. It's always changing. So our magic and our prayer work can help to push it forward that way. But again, we got to keep our feet in where we're starting from. So we're working with what really is, and we're not just going off into la la land, right? So, oh, hi, Tavia. Pisces is imprisonment. Pisces is the sacrificial lamb. It's sacrifice. Guess who the lambs have been? Hi. Well, this lamb grew into a black sheep, and that means I'm a pattern buster. And so I invite all you black sheep, look at the black here, all you black sheep to join me in big pattern busting. So many of us have managed to break up the patterns of suppression, guilt, othering in our own families. And by working on that, we have worked on healing our ancestral line. And so we have those ancestors that have been freed up through our efforts, through our loving efforts. And those are part of our team of allies here now. So my father-in-law, my late father-in-law, who I never got to meet, he died long, long ago, fought in World War II. Think of all of those veterans that are, I think they're all gone now. We might have one left, like, that's in his hundreds. But, and I could be wildly wrong about that, but, think about all of those allies on the other side that are watching this happen again. And it's like, hey, come on, give us a hand here. And they are. So, hoo-wee. All right, coming out swinging. And here I'm thinking, Osho Zen is going to, tell us how to take care of ourselves and everything. Well, no, here we go. That's not what we come here for. We don't come here to get pacified. All right, I got to move this little thing over. All right, here we go. Tiny die again. Number 3, which is, the Lenormands. Oh my God, I was kind of hoping these would come up last, but all right. I have left one man, one woman card in here. I think I have all the oh shit, no, I think I've got both man and woman cards. I'm going to take you two out. And yes, I have the extra, wait, looking to see if I've got all the extras in here. Yes. All right. This card, or this deck, I think has 44 cards, so there's extras. But they're good. So the man and woman card that are in here, I am naming for the collective masculine, the collective feminine. All right. Please remember that I am still consider myself an apprentice with the Lennies. And I think from my wonderful patrons that are still hanging in there, bless you guys. Bless you girls, you ladies, you women, you witches, bless you all for that little bit of money I get every month, because I let it lie there for last month. And when I get this month's, I'm going to get Rana George's second edition of her Lenormand book, which is greatly expanded, and I'm very excited. All right, so the question is, let's put a time limit on it from Beltane to the solstice. So from Beltane to summer solstice, please show us, like, collectively, what our path will be, what we're kind of going to be looking at, what we're going to be dealing with, what we might be encountering. Okay. And I'll go through my process of picking. So talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to set that one aside because it's like, did I pick the right one there? So what I'm doing, I have to play such games with my mind, because having a Mercury-Pluto conjunction, I can override everything. It's awful. So what I'm doing there is I'm just concentrating right here, and then I see like a meter, and the arrow will go zing, and then I open my eyes, and the first card my eyes land on is the one that I pick. Okay, so we have 2 lines of 5. Oof, oof, ooh. Okay, interesting. Okay. Ugh. Alrighty. Now it's going to take me a little while to work my way through, but here we go. So we go to the center first. Key and fox. The key is in our skill and in our work. So the fox is about work, whether it's your job, but it's skill and cunning, craftiness, right? So fox can kind of be, in some people's view, sly and all that kind of stuff. But I am learning from Rana George, and one of the cardinal rules of Lenormand is find a system and stick with it. Don't go, well, I'm going to go with this system. Well, no, what this person says, just find something and stick with what works. So the key is in our cunning, our skill, the work that we're going to do, our craftiness. Over here, we've got the bear and moon. Bear is power, and it's feminine power. Bear is mama bear power. So, and I can't help but think about the man or the bear thing. And there's Jax has a song called I Choose Violence that she stands there holding hands with a bear. So I invite you to look at that too. The moon in Lenormand talks about acclaim and fame. So rather than, it is psychic stuff and intuition as well. So it does denote the feminine, but it's not like tarot where it's, sneaky and deception and shifty and all that kind of stuff. Not in Lenormand. Think about the full moon and everybody across the world going, oh, that's it, the light that shines on everything. Big acclaim, fame, recognition, but also the feminine and intuition. So we've got big feminine power here. And then on this end, we've got the lilies in the mountain. Holy crap, is it going to be tough to budge this shit? So the lilies, I think, is the patriarchy in this sense because it talks about legacy. And it can talk about, think of the fleur-de-lis, royal families. So these systems of hierarchy that are just entrenched, and this is the way we do it. People that can have these huge scrolls with their family names, or their family tree. So this talks about something long-standing, and the mountain is an obstacle, and it's something that is difficult to get over or go around or go through. It's an immovable object, right? So it's going to be, ain't nothing really going to be moving before the solstice. But here we've got power, the seats of power. So this can also be government and just, those who have power. And then we've got the mice after it saying something's going to be eaten away at the power, gnawing away. Worries. This is worries, concerns. So those in power going to have a lot of little worries coming up, eating away at them. The key here, okay, anchor. Anchor talks about a foundation, something that holds you, something that, okay, hold on. Where are you? Rana. I always, she pronounces it Rana, and it's Rana, and it messes with my head because my sister's Dana, and she's Dana, and then you'd think maybe Rana, but no, it's Rana. Okay. So, anchor. Destination, think about putting down an anchor. Stability, heavy, deep, lifelong. So here's, yes, these are things that are heavy and deep. Willpower, stubbornness, persistence. The key is we have to be grounded and anchored. The key lies in what we're anchored in, and we are anchored in history, in legacy. It could also talk about just the weight of all of that. Okay. Moon, fish is commerce, money flow. Okay, so what's important, what gets attention is things that affect the flow of money, right? I know that on the first, there is like the first general strike called for, although I have not seen much on that lately. I have also seen some other things going by on, sign this and general strike on the 10th and, stuff like that. So I'm thinking that what really starts to get a lot of attention is when the money flow, and look at you don't read Lenormand this way, but I'm looking at the fox looking back this way anyway. If we are cunning and if we are very purposeful and conscious of how we are affecting, because if you look at recently, from 2016 on, there have been times when collectively we have made businesses afraid enough that they've changed their minds about things. So the flow of money in a very strategic way, and then we've got men and the mountain. So men collectively. So how do we get to them? It's got to come through the flow of money, which affects the seats of power. Which is why it is so dangerous that so few have enough stinking money that they could never go through it in 100 lifetimes. That's the problem. So if we look at the knightings here, we've got power, craftiness, longevity. We have reputation, acclaim, attention, the key to moving the mountain. Ooh, okay. The key to the mountain. So whatever we call into attention, when we keep calling out the powerful, bringing attention to this, when it impacts their reputation, is key to moving that mountain. Then we have mice, mice and men. Oh my God. We don't want to look here. Hi, Chet. Hi. Hi. Moonfish, fox, and men are all looking left. Yep. So, but this mice and men is hilarious. So this says that men need to be getting worried. And that's why I was watching a video today. I don't remember the woman's name. I'm sorry. I would have to. Well, you know what? Here, I'm going to tell you what her channel is, because it's really not that hard to do. The channel is, where is she? Leeja Miller, Leeja Miller, YouTube channel. And she is an attorney. She's very well educated. And she was talking about, now I got to remember my point. Holy crap. Okay, we're doing the mice and men. Mice and men. Getting them worried. Oh, she talked about decentering the male, which, the male has been centered as the default since God became a man with no wife. So decentering the men from our lives, decentering their emotions, refusing to do emotional heavy lifting for the men in your lives, the men that are around you. And as I was kicking those 120 some white men off my friends list, it was hard. And I was paying attention to what was going on in my body with, but he's a nice guy. And it's like, off you go. You've been silent. Bye. So I was kind of brutal, and I intended to just start and do a couple, but I ended up just going, and I thought, we'll see what happens. I doubt that I'm important enough to them to make it even a ripple in their lives. I doubt that it'll even be noticed, because way bigger things aren't even getting noticed. So anyhow, revenons à nos moutons. So then we have the other knighting here. So anyways, once we become worrisome to the men, to the patriarchy, let's call it the patriarchy, things can shift. And then we've got fish and anchor. So commerce and anchor. So we can be anchored in the business of where money flows and how it flows, and really aiming to target that from now to the solstice. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. But ooh, I love these cards. I love them. I love them. I love them. Will be interesting to go back and double check on that as things go on, eh? All right. Who's up next? Number 1, Deep, Dark, and Dangerous. Might need the book on this one. We'll find out. I've not been knocking and kissing, but the sacred or the Osho Zen, I've kissed that deck so many times. Thank you for showing up, you 7 that are here watching. Thank you so much. It's, I can't possibly expect more than that when I've been gone for so long. So, whoop. All right, there's our first. Whoops. Hypnos, rest. Oh my goodness. All right. Scylla, resilience. So this is the one that's calling out here how we need to take care of ourselves. And believe me, I am. I have started doing Donna Eden energy medicine modalities every morning to get my body moving, my shoulders moving. They get so locked down. And it's because I'm carrying stuff that isn't mine. Then we have Valkyrie, choice. Rest, resilience, choice. So rest is the first thing. Okay. Sheila Nahig. Boundary. Look at her. She's glorious. She's a little odd. I mean, I see what they're trying to, but she's a little odd anyway. Oh, here comes another one. Oh, 2. Okay. These were face up, so I'm going this way. Vengeance. Irinyes. And chaos, harpy. Holy shit, you guys. Oy vey. All right. Well, this isn't going to be warm and fuzzy. All right. So hypnosis, rest. Let's read a little bit here. Prioritize rest and sleep. Allow yourself to dream. You need the grace of rest to be at your best. Boy, howdy. The unconscious has great depth and power, so explore it if you can. Use your imagination. Do not stay asleep to your potential. Awaken to your power. The dualities are asleep, awake, rest, activity. So one thing I want to tell you, if you have a deviated septum, but that's the last thing you expected to come out of my mouth. If you don't sleep well at night and you don't think you have breathing issues even, try breathe right strips. Those things that, you tape across your nose and it pulls it open. I have been sleeping so well for the last almost 2 months since my sister told me about them. And I have a severely deviated septum. You can see by how crooked my nose is. But yeah, it really affects my breathing at night. And I never knew it. The first night I put that thing on and it was like, oh my God, I can breathe. And what happens is I'm not breathing through my mouth at night. I'm breathing through my nose, and my sleep has been really deep and restful. I can think of maybe 2 times that I really didn't sleep well in that time, but it has been life-changing as far as my general quality of life because I'm sleeping well. So breathe right strips, whether you get the store brand or whatever, try them. They're amazing. Okay. So rest, not just rest, but rest in order to allow the unconscious to surface, in order to allow dreams to come out and play and inform us, but also to process, to let the unconscious process. Because when you don't sleep well and your consciousness is still kind of hovering that whole time, you don't really get the chance for your brain to work out everything it needs to work out. Because let's face it, the majority of dreams are just filing cabinet, filing, processing, going through shit. Okay, file it, kick that out, and then every once in a while something busts through. But yes, so rest, sleep, dream, resilience, Scylla, and Charybdis, which is basically rock in a hard place. Life throws adversity at you. There's no escaping this, yet building resilience allows you to handle this better. Building flexibility is the key to developing resilience. The person with the greatest capacity for change wins. Flexibility evolves into resilience. Righteous anger is not shameful. Wow, that came out of left field, but yeah. Righteous anger is not shameful. Sometimes you get caught between a rock and a hard place. You need to make a decision between two poor outcomes to get where you need to go. So the dualities here are resilience and rigidity, righteous anger and anger. Interesting that they put those on two ends. I'm going to have to think about that for a while. But resilience and rigidity, when you are not flexible, you break instead of bend. And then you're not resilient, you're broken, right? So resilience is about being flexible enough so that you can bend and not break. But this being Scylla talks about still making a choice, not collapsing, still making a choice even when both choices suck. We've been between this rock and a hard place for too long. But we're still standing. A lot of us are. So resilience comes from flexibility, and then we have choice. So we've got the acknowledgement here of two poor choices, but this says you still have to choose anyway. And look at the sword. And what do we choose? What's the basis of our choice? Survival, thriving, love. And if you can't decide which one you want, just figure out which one you need to say the hardest no to. That can help. Okay, let's look her up too, since these little entries are not long. Why am I going to the back? Oh, because I'm thinking they're alphabetical. They're not. Okay. No. It's so hard to see. Wait. 42. It's so hard to see. There's numbers there. Can you see those? Yeah, me neither. Okay. You have control over yourself only, and you can choose your thoughts and actions. It is never too late to change. You can transform your fears. Be courageous even though you may be fearful. Choice and consequences, self and community are the dualities there. So we have control only over ourselves. We choose our thoughts and actions. Never too late to change. Flexibility, flexibility. Flexibility gives us more choice. And imagination, too. If you're being offered two things, it's like, it's got to be either one of these or nothing else, but you have a great imagination and creativity. It's like, I see how I can use these things differently than what they think they're showing me. All right. Sheila Nahig. Put up your boundary. So she is boundary. And only let through what benefits you. Paradoxically, only let through what you can say yes to. Let's change that. Benefit, we think I'm going to be getting something from it. But let's loosen that up a little bit. What you can say yes to. Paradoxically, a boundary gives you freedom. Yes. Clear your home from negative energy. Be proud of what you've achieved. Do not compare yourself to others. Harm none and do what you will. Amen. If you are going through a gateway event, a special birthday or life event like a birth or marriage, ask her for protection. The dualities are shame and pride, inclusion, exclusion. So boundaries are healthy, living, breathing things. Boundaries are a statement of what we say no to. Only yeses may cross this boundary. So as we're choosing, between a rock and a hard place and looking at what we want to choose, what we can say yes to, what we're saying emphatically no to, that is setting a boundary. A boundary, standards are something that says, this is what I expect from you. A boundary says, this is what I'm expecting of me. Here's how I'm going to set my behavior, right? Then we have the Arini's vengeance. Holy crap. Well, this is deep, dark, and dangerous after all. Revenge can feel good for a time, but it is a hollow victory. I would rather focus on the end result, on change, on where we're going, than vengeance. Because if we just focus on where we're going and the change that we are manifesting in this system, bringing it to wholeness, vengeance isn't needed. Karma takes care of the rest. I release you to your karma. I don't have to carry. Vengeance is kind of carrying the shame of someone's actions and trying to hand it back to them when they are saying, no, I don't want that, when they are refusing. So, yeah. Allow yourself to leave a cycle of negativity. Justice will be done. Only you can choose to forgive someone else. And that doesn't mean you have to share air with that person at all. You may or may not choose to forgive someone of their transgression, but you forgive for yourself and not for others. Yes, and I release you to your karma. I will no longer live in reference to you. I will no longer live in reference to this wound, to this trauma, is what forgiveness is to me. I am choosing not to live in reference to this anymore. It doesn't need to come up in my life because I'm letting it go, right? All right. Chaos at the end. Holy crap. I mean, we're in it. Why call it what it is, right? The situation will evolve. This is Harpy, by the way. The situation will evolve very quickly, as it has been. Remove yourself from the influence of chaotic people and situations. Stand firm. Justice is being sought actively and may well be found. Organizing influences must be found to turn chaos into advantage. Do not be hungry for the wrong things. Justice, retribution, and chaos balance. Organizing influences must be found to turn chaos into advantage, because chaos is just disorganization, right? Everything's everywhere. But balance says we're going to organize things into counterbalance, into opposite poles. And balance is a fluid moving thing. It's not static. Okay. The situation will evolve very quickly. Remove yourself from chaotic people and situations. Stand firm. All right. I mean, it's duck and cover time, or not. It's bend in the breeze, bend in the wind. Step out of the hurricane and the tornado, but bend in these winds of change. Stay flexible. Keep your eyes open, so that you can be making the choices you need to make, keeping your boundaries firm so that you're protecting your system. And you have to keep the chaos out there too, so that you can rest. And yes, we can find rest amidst the chaos if we make the right choices. All right, shoo-wee. Okay, now I gotta read. Jet says, I've been dreaming a lot more than usual. It seems that there is some kind of integration of the inner work I'm doing going on. Absolutely there is. You can bet on it. You can bet on it. It's really something when you do a lot of conscious work, in therapy and journaling, whatever you're doing, and you're working and working and working, and all of a sudden things start showing up in your dreams, because that's when things are putting roots down. and it's getting into your deep mind and big change is happening. So, yay! I'm happy for you for that. Um, some of what I've been working on is exploring the energy of conflict from a place of using and moving in one's true inner power. Yeah, think about like judo, where, and this is what I'm talking about, where, we're presented with just these two choices, but it's like, oh, I can see a third thing I can do with that. It's like in judo, somebody's coming at you and you don't try to oppose that force and stop that momentum. You use their weight and momentum in the direction they're heading just to take them there faster. Really good. That's a really good comment, Jet. I think of the temperance card when you speak of balance. Yes, absolutely. Temperance and integration as well. So it's kind of like balance is also about, this is what I can integrate into my system. This is what vibes with my own truth and aligns with me, and the rest can go. And Mary Beth says, my sleep has been much deeper than usual. Different tenor of dreams. Good. Yeah, I mean, and I wonder if it is just the breathe right strips, but I know it is, because that's the only thing that's really changed. And I mean, I look forward every night to putting that sucker on, because I immediately am breathing more. And if it didn't say only wear these for 12 hours a day, I'd be wearing it all the time, except boy, it makes my nose so big. Vanity. What are you going to do? All right. What do we have left? Whoa. We just did that one. 3, we done that one. 3 again, we done that one. Come on, give me something different here. 2. All right. So this is the Divine Feminine. All right. Tavia says, I'm getting big messages in dreams. One night it was ancestors. They said, we are the ones you haven't found. Whoa. We are the ones you haven't found. So, when I do ritual and I'm formally invoking goddess, I will invoke, whoever I'm working with. And then I always talk about the unnamed or the nameless one. And same thing when you're talking about ancestors and everything, always leave a space open for the unnamed, because there are ones waiting to be found that we haven't found. Might be really interesting to do a ritual and just, set your boundaries firmly, of course. But, invite in who are the ones that are waiting for me to discover them. That would be really, really interesting things. The ones you haven't found. The nameless, the faceless. And you know what? Think about how over, I don't know, since Me Too, maybe, we've had round after round after round of stories of women that have been written out of history. This is the woman that actually discovered this, and this dude took credit for it, and she disappeared. And we are reclaiming these women and their stories. But imagine, you don't even have to imagine what it's like to pour your life's work and your brain and your incredible skill and knowledge into something, make a great discovery, and then have a man slap his name on it with no accountability. To go to your old age and your death knowing that they'll never know. They'll never know I did this. And I am so grateful that we are reclaiming their stories and giving them their names and their faces and their places in history, in herstory. Mary Beth says, when I call upon my guides, etc., before pulling cards, I call upon ancestors, both known and unknown, up and down the line. That's wonderful. Ooh, yeah. Both known and unknown, up and down the line. Indeed. All right. We have Pope Joan. Hello. Hello, Your Excellency. What do they call the Holy Father? What do you call him? You're something? What is it? Okay. Parvati. So this is the Pontiff of Possibilities. Yes, she was a real woman. Here is Parvati, the goddess of devotion. The Black Madonna. Ah, oh, this, I am so down with this right now. We have the cosmic egg. Amaterasu. Oh my goodness. This is so good. Oh my goodness. And Saraswati. Okay. Dang. Pope Joan, the Pontiff of Possibilities. The possibilities are limitless because the soul is limitless. So she was a real person who became Pope. They didn't know she was a woman until she went into labor. And there's a haunted spot somewhere near the Vatican where it was said that she gave birth in the street and then was stoned to death. Now, how much of that story is true, who knows? But, and of course, they deny, and they don't just deny and leave her off the lists, but there are lists from way, way long time ago where somebody was going through the list of popes and came across this one and said, this one doesn't count. She was a woman. So historically, she's there, right? And if she wasn't, then why after after her time they started making the Pope elects sit on this stool with a hole in it, and then they could look underneath there and they had to pronounce testiculos habet bene pendente, which means it has testicles and they hang all right. Yeah. Vatican's got more secrets than you can even imagine. Okay, the Holy See. No, I'm talking about how you address the Pope. Your Holiness. It's Your Holiness, I think, right? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to go to the book here too. So Pope Joan, yeah, possibilities. If it's not possible, how is she ever Pope? But she was. Mm-hmm. All right, who she is. This says her son became the Bishop of Ostia, had her entombed with honor in his cathedral when she died. Well, regardless, her name was removed from the list of popes, and all subsequent cardinals had to sit on the sedes stercoraria, a throne with a conspicuous hole in the middle of the seat, to get a confirmation of sex before being named as the next pope. So there you go. The Via Sacra. All right. Anyway, I'm not going to read a whole bunch of this. So the soul voice meditation here says, what helps me remember that all things are still possible for me? Intention, the possibilities are limitless because the soul is limitless. So here's the intention here. And I have to say that I have confronted this recently because I thought for a while the illusion was that it was not possible for me to travel with my system the way it is, but it did. So now I am kind of pushing myself. And I realize my life is kind of like these episodes where everything goes haywire. And then I spend time recovering and then pushing back to zero is what I'm doing. There's no real getting ahead at this stage of the game, although it's not impossible. So I'm not going to put that out there. All right. So possibilities. Parvati, the goddess of devotion. I am a love that doesn't leave. When I commit to love, my soul evolves. Let's take a look at her. She embodies the divine strength of devotion. She is the mountain that love becomes when we devote ourselves to another and to our own soul. She's the Hindu goddess of fertility, love, and devotion, and of divine strength and power. She's the gentle, nurturing aspect of Shakti, or feminine energy. She's part of the Tridevi, a trinity of powerful Hindu goddesses together with Lakshmi and Saraswati. Her name means she of the mountain. So, what is soft, gentle, and nurturing like water can be far more powerful than what is inflexible and fierce. Think about water wearing down a mountain. All right. So she's the water. She's the flowing water. I'm thinking about that mountain in the Lenormands here. So this flowing water, not only can it wear down mountains, but it also can flow around things that are obstacles. It's flexible. It changes its form. It has 3 different forms. So, water is the most flexible. And devotion, I am a love that doesn't leave. So I'm hearing from that the love for ourselves, the love for our very own soul, the love for the life that we've been given to learn and evolve through. And so we devote ourselves to that love. We devote ourselves to the care that we need in order to bring our best to the world every day. You know? And then over here we have the Black Madonna, Our Lady of the Hermits. There's a book called Longing for Darkness, and her name just kind of is dancing on the outside of my consciousness here. But it's a wonderful pilgrimage book about a woman who went looking for the Black Madonnas and the history of these dark faced goddesses that have been kind of tucked away. I transform pain and suffering into a greater capacity to love. Yeah. So the biggest challenge that we have is in not allowing the atrocities that we are witnessing in real time. We've always looked at atrocities as history, but the atrocities are happening now. And the challenge is to stay devoted and soft and loving when we are under this terrible, terrible challenge of pain and suffering. So I transform it into a greater capacity to love. I wish these cards had numbers. Okay. The Black Madonna represents the power we all have to emerge from the darkness transformed. There are over 500 Black Madonnas throughout Europe. Historians believe many of the icons are actually of the Egyptian goddess Isis and her son Horus, which were carried over from Egypt during the Crusades. Other icons of the Black Madonna are meant to represent earth goddesses and are worshipped for the fertility miracles attributed to them. Think of the fertile black earth. She is often depicted holding the royal scepter of a ruling monarch. Jungian psychologist Marion Woodman believes that the Black Madonna represents a new awareness or consciousness toward the earth and our bodies, our little piece of earth here. She represents the wisdom we can only accrue when we go through the often painful fires of transformation. In The Pregnant Virgin, Woodman relates that only the intensity of the fire can unite body and soul. The Black Madonna helps us become conscious in the spirit in matter, of the light in the dark, of the intersection of sexuality and spirituality. This particular Black Madonna resides in the Benedictine monastery in Einsiedeln, Switzerland. The abbey is dedicated to Our Lady of the Hermits because the chapel where she resides was originally the hermitage of Saint Meinrad, a 9th century hermit. It's the birthplace of the renowned alchemist Paracelsus. Alchemy is the physical process of transforming base metals into unalloyed gold, which represents a spiritual and metaphysical process of burning away all obstacles to just be the soul. And you think about the Black Madonna, you can have statues that have literally been through the fire and have been blackened by it. And that black color is a symbol of their transformation, of their ascendance. Okay. Yeah. Black Madonna is loved for having been through the fires of loss and for emerging with a greater capacity to love. Every afternoon for hundreds of years, the monks of the abbey have come out from meditation to sing Salve Regina to Our Lady of the Hermits. So I transform pain and suffering into a greater capacity to love. So what goes through all these so far? Love, 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 and love, 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 love. Cosmic Egg. This is the one non-person card in this deck. It's the last card. The Divine Feminine. I hold the universe within me. I am the force of an ever-expanding love. And Amaterasu is a goddess of the sun. So in Ariadne's thread, she's talking about how it's not just sun male, moon female, you know. No, there are sun goddesses as well. And Amaterasu is Japanese Shinto goddess of light. We are all sacred mirrors reflecting back the same light. So the story was that she went into a cave to hide out, and that is what brought on winter. And somebody, one of her priestesses, I think, or something, but he came with a mirror to call her out and showed her her own brilliance and her own beauty, and that attracted her enough to come out of the cave. So here's another little thing. One thing that we can do for each other is we can remind each other of our beauty and our power and our purpose in being here, you know, of our, our purpose. I already said that. So that mirror work is so powerful, looking into your own eyes and talking to that woman. But if you have friends that are going through things, I remember hearing a story about a tribal community, I can't remember where, maybe Africa, maybe South America, where when a kid messes up, instead of punishing them, they all surround them and tell them all of their good qualities. Because when you mess up like that, you're not coming from spirit, you're straying from the love that is really at the core of you, the spirit that's at the core of you. So when people fuck up, you remind them of who they really are. I'm so sorry you got lost. Do you remember who you are? You are holy, you are worthy, you are beautiful, you are powerful, you are able, you are skillful, you're intelligent, you're creative, you're imaginative, you are spirit incarnate, you are the goddess. Shine your light. And then we have Saraswati, the goddess of self-knowledge. She's also music. And I want to ask you this too. Have you been dancing lately? Have you danced lately? We have to dance. We have to keep our bodies moving in a flowing and joyful and sacred way, or we're just going to get stuck. We're going to get stuck and calcified. The trauma that is coming out is so very physical. And when you allow yourself to witness and see what's going on, it can get calcified into your system. And so we have to keep moving to move that through, right? Okay, let's see here. Pope Jones speaks to me of claiming one's own spiritual authority and one's uniquely authentic and direct connection. Yes, absolutely. Needing no intermediary. You got that right, Jet. China Galland, yes. Longing for darkness. Thank you. Yes, I transform darkness in order to love in a greater capacity. And not really transform, because that the wording there, transform darkness, still carries some of that darkness, bad, light, good thing. How about I reside in darkness in order to love in a greater capacity? You know, that book, Longing for Darkness. And there's some wording at the end of the Tara dance practice that I did for many years about she goes into the darkness of her own heart to bring out that love and wisdom. Think of where dreams occur, in the darkness. where lovemaking usually occurs, where we connect with each other without our physical forms visible, where we connect soul to soul. So many important things happen in the darkness. Bright sacred day, no, the bright, what is it? Bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. Equal. Okay, so Saraswati, I looked her up and then I let her go. Wait. Okay. So her intention says the essence of who I am flows effortlessly into everything I create. She represents the self knowledge of who we are so that nothing impedes the flow of creativity from the soul. Her name is a fusion of the Sanskrit words for essence and oneself. So Saraswati can take you to your true essence. Her name translates then as the one who leads to the essence of self knowledge. She's part of the Tridevi, Parvati, Lakshmi, Saraswati. All three goddesses help the trinity of Hindu gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, to create, maintain, and regenerate the universe. Okay. She's a river goddess. Flow, flow, flow. Okay. When we are aligned with the essence of who we are, then what needs to be communicated through us, whether with words or music or artwork, can flow. When our creativity feels blocked or stagnant, it isn't because the waters have dried up. We might fear this, but the truth is that self-awareness is the key to unlocking our creative flow. Okay, so we've got all possibilities here and power. We have the possibility to rise to the very top. And not in a hierarchical way, the top as being the highest level of ourselves. I'm reminded of there's a playlist on my channel called Storytime, and I don't know, it maybe has 2 videos on it. I haven't added to it in many years, but the main story there was about how I met myself in the hallway one night, and it was a couple weeks after I had started doing Shakti Gawaine's creative visualization tape back in the 80s. And it was when I was losing my mind and freaking out and locking my keys in my car and locking myself out of my apartment. And then I went in a store one day and I came out, my car was still running because I couldn't find my keys. Oh, I left them in the car. No, it was still running. So I was freaking out. I went to my favorite little metaphysical bookstore and said, help me. And they gave me this creative visualization tape. So I did it every day for a couple of weeks. I did it every day for many weeks. But after a couple of weeks, I went to bed one night, and suddenly I found myself sitting at the end of my bed, just in bliss, overjoyed, because my sister was there. My sister lived in Colorado at the time. And I had gotten this apartment. She'd never seen it. And I was just like, oh, overjoyed. It was like meeting the Beatles overjoyed, just wow, overjoyed. And I'm like, I can't wait to show you this apartment. I can't wait to show it to you. And I said, come here, let me show you. And we stepped out of the bedroom into this dark hallway. And she was behind me. And I had been wearing, she had gotten me this purple bamboo print kimono. And I had also had like a white satin kimono. And I stepped into the hallway and she's behind me. And all of a sudden I got like this shiver of, who are you talking to? Dana's not here. And it just kind of freaked me out. It's like, who is this? And I turned around. My hair was kind of like this at the time, except it was very, very angular, mushroomy. And I step into the hallway. My sister had long blonde hair. This woman that I'm looking at has a white kimono on. She's got dark hair like this. And I grabbed a hold of the sleeve of her kimono. And I had that sleeve in my hand. I physically felt it. This was so real and such a physical dream. And I came up into her face and it was me. And my brain went wacka, 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 and I jolted back into my body. Took me a while to sort that one out because I was just a baby dipping my toe into these things. But as soon as I started doing meditations, she came to meet me. I came to meet me. So when I am doing my prayer work in the morning and I'm looking in the eyes of Anandamayi Ma, that's the bliss I'm remembering. The bliss of, I'm so glad you're here. I've missed you so much. I'm so glad you're here. Meeting the Beatles kind of bliss. To meet my own higher self in the hallway. So, our higher selves are there waiting for us. And we get there through ecstasy and bliss. We get there through joy and through practice. Through practice, showing up every day to practice. And then one day that penny drops. So, the feminine divine sun and moon, transmuting pain and suffering into love, being devoted to love, and knowing that our self, our true self, is that being that we would be more overjoyed to meet than any other being ever, ever. Bless you. Blessings, blessings. Okay. Oh, my goodness. I needed this so bad, you guys. Where are we at now? We've got 2 more to go. We have 4 and 5. So give me 4 or 5, please. 3. You dork. 4 or 5, please. 4. Okay. This is Wild Woman Rising. What time is it even? And we're just about at 2 hours here. That's okay. I keep going. I'm having fun. I had a big Pepsi beforehand, so. We have Howl with Fierceness. This is the first card of this deck. She flipped herself over there. We have Dig Deep. I love the artwork in this. Remember Kindness. Interesting because this one especially was standing out to me when I was picking decks and just doing a test, you know. That one jumped out. Because you know why? Because nothing they can throw at us will force us to become less than we are. No matter what image they want to carry of women and what we're worth, there is nothing, unless we choose to acquiesce, there is nothing that can force us to be horrible, rotten, mean people. That's what those goddesses are talking about, devotion to love. I'm going to bring love, even, you know, if I'm bringing it while I'm knocking you out, because it can be fierce too. But we're going to bring love, and nothing is going to make us be nasty. They got that covered. So we have Laugh with Life. We have Listen the World Open. I like that one too. Listen the world open. Listen, listen, listen. Now I'm reminded of an album, Robbie Robertson and the Red Road Ensemble, I think they're called. Music for the Native Americans, which was a series on PBS, I think on PBS. Fabulous music, but there is a song at the end where they took crickets, the sound of crickets, and they slowed it way down, and it sounds like a chorus singing. It's the most amazing sound. And Robbie Robertson is just reciting these things, and every once in a while he says, "Listen, I'm dancing underneath you. I'm the earth. I'm dancing underneath you." Wow. Radiate true color. Okay. So, and you know, I'm thinking about that. I'm dancing underneath you, and how I came here tonight, you know, not angry, but just woo-wee, just in a place. And when we come together and we open ourselves, joy flows through, no matter how tough the messages are, no matter how much they, are in our faces about the reality that we're in and calling it what it is. But the joy and the ecstasy, the bliss, the love flow through. And that's the whole point here. Okay. Howl with fierceness. I am going to look these up because she's amazing. Wolves, like women, here we go, have been relegated to the dangerous side of wildlife, and look at how they've eradicated them. Both species are greatly misunderstood and often accused of menace. Yet women, like wolves, possess a propensity for courage in the face of danger, strength in the quest for well-being, and loyalty to mate and tribe. When we are no longer willing to shame ourselves for our natural fierceness, or condemn ourselves or others for the need to love and hunt and roam free, wild woman rises. So, lots of misinformation there too. The whole thing about the alpha male, bullshit. Total bullshit. It's the females that hold the thing together, right? Same thing with lions. So, howl with fierceness. Let that part of ourselves be free, regardless of what they want to name it or how they want to shame it out of us. We've had enough. We've had enough. Dig deep. She has deep roots, they say of the rising woman, roots that cannot possibly come from this earth alone. Through honeycomb and loam, sap and sunlight, and the rich, fertile soil of soul, we are connected to the world tree, the great source that pulses through all worlds, both seen and unseen. When we feel disconnected or disconcerted, our first step toward wholeness is tapping into our root source. When we connect inwardly to the source of life, Wild Woman rises. Okay. Remember kindness. So that's the 1 and 2 cards. Elephants. This was another one where they had the story really wrong. Elephants have long been associated with memory, with family, and with strength. Remember your ancestors. Hold their stories in your hands like raw, beating treasure. You are alive because of someone's generosity and kindness. When you could not care for yourself, someone carried you. Remember this kindness and pass it on as living legacy. For when kindness is shared, memories are kindled and Wild Woman rises. Yes. Share. It's the circle of caring. We receive when we need to receive, and we share it around because we have it in abundance. When it keeps flowing, we have it in abundance. We have all that we need. 44, laugh with life. So Beltane, I know this in Ohio anyway, it's going to be a shitty Beltane. It's going to be in the 40s and rainy, aggressively shitty. But astrological Beltane isn't until like the 6th. I think it's the 6th, when the sun hits 14 degrees is the dead center of the season. So, yeah, we can wait for better weather. Plus the whole month of May. Come on, May is Beltane. Laugh at the funny things, laugh at the tragic things, laugh with all the things. Laughter is magic and medicine, and since we cannot predict nor control the events of our lives, we might as well take as much medicine with us on our journey. It's like a first aid kit for the soul, and its essence sweetens sour grapes into wine. When we keep a space in our heart for laughter, we glimpse the invisible presence behind all things, and Wild Woman rises. So again, we're not going to let them rob us of the very joy of life. You hear stories of people that have been prisoners of war, people in the death camps, people, under horrific circumstances that just said, I will not let you have my mind or my joy, and chose resilience. And, would I be capable of that? I would hope so, but I don't know because I haven't been tested in that way. Been tested, so far so good, but in that way, we'll see. But we know it's possible. It is possible, so why not? All right, listen the world open. To listen deeply is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves and each other. To listen isn't passive, it's an act of generosity and creativity that opens up a blossoming space inside the soul. Stop all distractions, slow way down. Listen to what is around and inside you. When we listen each other open, the way the sun listens the blossom into a lily, Wild Woman rises. So I'm focusing in here on the slow way down. Stop distractions, slow way down. I am currently sewing a bead box for someone, and I know that I can't do things the way I used to. You know, I would go, okay, I'm going to start bead, and then work for hours. I can't do that. So I've started to set a timer and do slow beading, and I'll do it no more than half an hour at a time. So I set a timer for 30 minutes, and then I have to stay mindful. I sit and I can get so tense with my hands, so I have to keep my hands relaxed. I have to sit in a way that my shoulders and my neck are in a good way, good position, that I'm soft and that I'm mindful. And it's time to stop. You know, I did a half an hour one night and then I did another 15 minutes. And towards the end of that 15 minutes, I started messing up, and that's my signal that you've had enough. And I only had a couple more little sides to do, so I went through that, but it's like, okay, time to stop now. So I am not going to push myself through with beading. I just have to do some. And see, yeah, I go about things in a Plutonian way. I get it all done, but I can't do that. So now I am going to just slow bead and do this much while my body feels good, and I'm not going to cause myself pain anymore. I'm only going to work when I can sow mindfulness and love into my beaded things. So that's what I'm taking from that too. Listen the world open, listen to yourself as well, listen to your body, stay mindful. All right. And the last here is radiate true color. In a world urging compliancy and sameness, popularity and conformity, carry your colors like a flag. Let it fly. Your ideas, your nature, your dreams, gifts, and voice are all one of a kind. The world won't know what it can be without your original contribution. So the world won't know what it can be without your original contribution. When we wave our colors, showing up as our true self in the world, we pass on a permission flag for others to do the same, and Wild Woman rises. Okay. So this, is it a whole message together? Well, yes, it is. But we look at the rootedness and staying connected to our wildness, being unapologetic and uncompromised. Remember those two words. I'm going to be who I am in my true colors, as fierce as I am, unapologetic and uncompromised. Remembering our kindness, staying rooted, laughing, listening, radiating. This is a good deck of Angie's. The other one is Witch, the WITCH, Woman in Total Control of Herself. That one has longer written entries and lots of poetry in it, which is incredible. This one has nice, short, concise messages. Okay. And now we have the Sacred She. This deck shuffles so easily. This deck, I think I got 2 years ago. It was one of those wacky things where I'd been looking at it and gonna buy it, and in fact, I had ordered it, and then somebody was trying to send me a gift deck and couldn't make it work, and messaged me and said, I'd just like to send you money for a deck. And I said, okay, well, send me the money and tell me what deck you'd like me to get. And it was this deck. And it's like, well, coincidentally, I just ordered that, and it was a man. So Kyle, thank you and bless you for this wonderful deck. That's what's so frustrating, is that this whole not all men thing. We know it's not all men. But can you just drop your shield and show up? Compassion. This is the Strength card. Oh, I saw a TikTok the other day This woman that has big cats and she goes in and boops them, she scritches them and boops them and you can hear them purring and everything. And she had this lion and she was just, and she grabs onto their teeth and she was like playing with this lion. It's like, oh my God, that's the strength card, my dear. Look at that. Brought a whole new understanding there, as this one does. Can you see? It's called compassion. Tell me what you get from that. Self-expression. Notice a pattern here. Karma. This is where, if you are a believer in karma, if you are connected with your spirit, we can afford compassion because it's not our business to bring that karma down. You can come at things from ferocious compassion and say, you know what? I'm not going to let you put your soul in any more trouble than it's already in. I'm going to fucking stop you. I'm not going to let you do that, whatever it takes. It's that Buddhist story about this captain of a ship, and this pirate came on and was going to kill everybody on the ship, and the captain, or it was a monk on the ship, I can't remember, but I think it was a monk who killed this pirate. And they're like, oh no, the horrible karma, how could you do that? How could you kill somebody? And he's like, well, I just saved him. I saved him from taking on the karma of murdering every person on this ship. So out of compassion for his karma, I took him out of the process. So I'm going to have to read. I got that from Pema Chodron, so I can get that story right for a change. Transitioning, that's the death card. Order. That's the Emperor card. Oh, she was the first one out for me this morning. The Unknowable, the High Priestess. Look at this. 5 out of 6 are majors here, you guys. And this is where you get to see just how glorious this deck is, because Ma Deva Padma, in both this and the Osho Zen, has the ability to reimagine so that the essence of the Waite-Smith is still there, but she's just moved things forward in such an amazing way. So strength, we get compassion. Look at this little child who can recognize the beingness of this animal, regardless of how fearsome it looks or how, rough and scaly and scary it can look. The innocence of a child says, this being needs care too. This being is as worthy of my kindness and compassion as any other being. So we come from a place of, I don't want any more harm to come to anyone, from anyone. And rooted in that compassion, we have self-expression here. This is the Page of Fire, so Page of Wands, talking about that raw energy of creation moving through. I have myself to express. I've got something to express. What is it? Myself, regardless of what tools you're using, what medium you're using to create and to express. What's being expressed is yourself, your spirit. So, rooted in compassion, we bring our spirit forth. And karma here, it's cause and effect, it's consequences when we operate from compassion. And we don't take on other people's agendas of what they want to see done. We stay true to ourselves and expressing our own compassionate spirit. Then the consequences of that, and karma is the temperance card here. The light, the dark, the yin, the yang, the balance, the action, the consequence. action, reaction, you know? And then we have death and the emperor, transitioning from the old and dying into something new being born. And through compassion, we're going to express this into being, dancing and expressing and dreaming the world into its into a newer form, to prepare for the Aquarian age, where it's all of humanity as community. And then order here. So transitioning the death of the old from, we had chaos before, now we're bringing in the divine order of the universe. Look at the sacred geometry here. There is a divine order, and chaos is part of it. Chaos is part of that divine order. We have times when things are coming together and coalescing into form, and we have times when things are breaking apart and devolving into chaos, seeming chaos. But there's pattern in chaos as well. Chaos is part of the pattern. And then down here we have the unknowable. Holy crap. I don't even know if I can put words to this particular spread. But we're transitioning through chaos back into order, and through our compassion, through cause and effect. If I take these actions, I'm spinning a positive wheel of karma, and good comes of it. And that's what we're adding as things begin to come back together into order, into something new being born. And what makes it possible is our ability to step into the darkness, into the deep, into the unconscious, into the unknowable, that we can walk with our eyes closed and see. There's a wonderful George Harrison song called The Inner Light that they never let anybody in the US hear until until they put out Past Masters, which was all the singles and their B-sides. And it's a wonderful song. It's all Indian musicians. Without going out of your door, you can know all ways, you can see all things on earth. Without looking out of your window, you can know all things in heaven. The farther one travels, the less one knows. It's just a really, really cool song. And it's a statement of his awakening into, Indian religion through Indian music. So the unknowable, we have to be willing to step into the realm of the goddess, because that is her realm. The unconscious is the goddess's realm, not the gods, the goddesses. But boy, am I going to be having another think about Mars. Was it, who was it? Mary Beth that said that? So, anybody else get more from this? But I don't know that I need to get more from it. Karma is operating. I release you to your karma. It's not my job to bring the consequences about. They will come. That's how the system works. So all this mess that's happening, the consequences are coming. It's going to hurt. Hopefully it's not going to hurt the ones that don't deserve to be hurt. There's been enough pain already. All righty. Okay, over 2 hours. Woohoo. Okay, you guys, let's do a little closing meditation. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I do intend, and I am committed to doing this again on a regular basis. I have missed it so much, and I needed that time. I mean, that was a time when things were kind of falling apart for me. So hopefully it's coming back together again. How do I know it's time to be done? My throat's getting dry. Okay, so come back into your body. We never made our grid when we did the opening thing. I'm out of practice. So let's just acknowledge everyone here in this circle, which includes everyone that's going to watch this in the future. Pardon me. Back into your body. Absorb all the messages Whether you understood them or not, maybe more can surface when you're sleeping tonight. Sorry. I have gunk in my voice box. So now absorb everything that you heard tonight. Let it land like raindrops on soft earth. Let it put down roots. Let it germinate seeds that are in there. May it unfold for you and bring you more messages, more joy, more grounding, more healing. And then whatever is excess of the energies that have flowed tonight, just let it kind of fall out down the root into the earth for her blessing. Make sure you drain off any excess so you can sleep. And get yourself some breathe right strips. And then from the heart, exhale, take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, push all that wonderful energy out. Give it away. And I will end here by saying, may all beings be happy. May all beings be free. And say that with me. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. One more time. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. Let go of any images of everything. Just let it go off into the ether. Know that what you need is already in there working. And if anybody feels the need to support me in any way, there should still be a PayPal thing. I need an alternative to PayPal, but where you can do a little donation if you want to. I just am grateful for your presence here. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that you stay healthy until I see you next time. And until then, this is Luna. Blessed be.